Michael Somare, MHA Chairman ex officio, the Chief Minister, Pacific Regional Pangu Party. Second, number 2 Chairman, Father John Momis, MHA, Deputy Chairman, Chairman of the Committees, Bougainville Regional Pangu Party. Today I just learned that Father Momis was a Pangu Party member in 1975. What a privilege for me to live in the sight of this great man. Mr. Tay Abel, MHA, Leader of the Opposition, Wabek Open United Party. Mr. Paulus Arek, MHA, Minister for Information, Ijibitari Open People's Progress Party. He passed away in November 1973, so he must have passed away. He was member of that committee. Mr. Akmai Bilas, line of Medang, you like clear Mr. Akmai Bilas. Medang Open United Party. Mr. Makansi Daugi, Governor referred to him. Northern Regional United Party. I think 2 years ago he came here and then he must have gone back and he passed on. Mr. Sinake Gere Gere, Dalo Open United Party. Dr. John Gais, our country's first Governor General then. MHA was Deputy Chief Minister. Alata Open, he was an independent member. Mr. Tony Ila, Lay Open, Pangu Party, he's still in Gero right now as we speak. Mr. John Caputin, Minister for Justice, Rabal Open, Mataguan Association. Mataguan Association were front runners, some of the front-thinking people and who were also part of the cause towards our independence. Mr. Pika Kasau, Manus Regional Open, Pangu Party. Mr. John Kaupa, Suave Open. So today we have a John Kaupa, John Kaupa, father of our constitutional fathers. So Suave Open. God bless his soul. Mr. Paul Langro, MHA, Deputy Leader of the Opposition, West Pacific Regional United Party. Mr. Anton Parao, Western Highlands Regional United Party from September 1973. Mr. Stanis Toloman, Bogia Open, People's Progress Party. Mr. Matebe Yui, MHA, Tarib Como Open United Party. Staff back then, Executive Officer, Mr. Sabe Avosa, Department of the Chief Minister and Development Administration. Legal Officer, Mr. John Lee, Council of the House of Assembly. Permanent Consultants, people line work of Parliament to name people of staff kind of the history by reading work people work. Permanent Consultants, Professor Jim Davidson, deceased at April 1973, Department of Pacific History, Australian National University. Mr. Bennett Narakobi, Legal Officer, Public Solicitor's Office. Dr. David Stone, Research Fellow at Politics, New Guinea Research Unit, Australian National University. Mr. Edward Wolfers, now Professor, Lecturer in Politics, Macquarie University. Assistant in the Executive Office, Mrs. Jennifer Hayes. Secretaries, Ms. Gilly Bullock, Ms. Vivina Kuram, Ms. Clara Digelman, and the list goes on to those who have contributed to our national constitution. And the terms of reference are attached. I just want to say on behalf of our present generation, pay my respect to those who labored to construct a world-class constitution for all of us. And today in the university program, we did give a moment of consideration for that generation. Only few remain standing today. In fact, in this class of Fathers of our Constitution, Tony Ila, now Sir John Caputin, and Dr. Momis are the three that remains alive today. The rest has been called to rest. May God bless their soul, may God bless their memory, and may God bless their family and descendants who are still living amidst us today as we speak. What is the relevance of this conversation? As our nation faces 50th year of independence in September 16, our independence would be in total vain if the framework that shepherded us to independence was not bettered. The Constitution is the frame that ushered our country into independence. So it deserves its own fair recognition. The Constitution demarcates our borders. The Constitution reflects our national symbol. The Constitution gives spirit to our national vision and what we as a country aspires for. For instance, mentions the 5-point plan, our national goals that we have inside. The Constitution secures every citizen's right, and the Constitution continues to give authority to functionality of the three separate but equal arms of government we have in our country. And so this moment is not just a moment of reflection. This is not just a moment where we pass through thinking it's another press occasion by yours truly, the Prime Minister. It is a moment where we should, as a young children of this country, that generation that is now enjoying the freedom that was secured by the patriarchs and matriarchs of our country, we must show appreciation to the work that they put in. Just because the flag, and I have said this at the university today and I'm going to repeat, just because a flag was lowered and not torn, just because there was no gun fight or no blood loss, no exchange of a stressful contest between the administration in Canberra and our intention for self-rule here in Waigani, NCD and PNG, must not give us a lackluster, low patriotic view on our country. The Somali generation, the Momis generation, the Sedulous generation, the Caputin generation, that generation, in my view, are the greatest Papua New Guinean ever lived. Because for them, with no hindsight, but sheer determination and vision for a country that gives freedom to our children to live in, and they've achieved something that many parts of the world today still struggle to achieve. Of course, there was a rush to unshackle from the bonds of colonialism around those times in the 60s and 70s. But I want to remind every Papua New Guinean child again, don't take your sovereignty for granted. There were people who fought. In case you do not know, there was a time in the 60s and early 70s, in Ella Beach, they would have labeled like this: no natives and dogs allowed in Ella Beach Hotel and other places in downtown. And I repeat, there was once upon a time in our own land, there were public notice placed in public places, no natives and no dogs. And so this was where we came from. The Bully Beef Club, bathed in the kitchens of Lady Elizabeth Kiki, where conversation at a bully beef table led to the birth of Pangu Party on the 13th of June 1967, and led to this in the second House of Assembly in 1968, leaders coming together. 1970s, the conversation got bigger. 1972, the Constituent Assembly was established. And those moments happened so fast because they were fathers of our country and mothers of our country who wanted our country to have independence and our children in our country to exercise their own constitutional rights. Over 2,000 written submissions were mentioned, over 100 public meetings were held throughout our country. This was the first and possibly the only time massive consultation took place right across our country. Every district, every part of our country were visited. Even the constitutional fathers went out of country to also see from outside what is the best form of constitution that our country should have. And I want to say, today, looking back 50 years on, there aren't too many complaints on our constitution's ability to maintain individual citizens' right to exist in our country in total freedom. They've gifted us one of the best constitutions the world has ever seen. And our nation, like Papua New Guinea, with so much diversity in our tribal affiliations, so much diversity in our regional disbursement as people of the land. Over 600 islands, including our main land, Papua New Guinea, where our people are found, who have been living for thousands of years. It only had to be wise patriarchs to have the genius and wisdom to structure a constitution that embraces the diversity we have today. And I want to say, 50 years on, if there is one thing that has held our union together amidst many of our challenges, the ups and downs, after 7 Prime Ministers and me 8, over 18 Speakers of Parliament, around 5 heads of our judiciary, our democracy still functions on in the midst of many of the weakness we carry. Deep in the belly of our democracy has been the vitality and functionality of our Constitution. The 5 key constitutional principles, for instance, directive, national goals and directive principles, embraces all of our aspirations: integral human development, equality and participation, national sovereignty and self-reliance, wise use of our natural resources and environment, and of course, lastly but not the least, Papua New Guinean ways. They cast into us from 1975 the total intergenerational aspirations of our country. These are timeless values that will live on way after James Marape is gone and must live on into younger generations that come in our country. Never deviate from these principles that has been set. And I want to say that our constitutional monarchy and parliamentary democracy is a good one. In a nation of so much diversity we have, there can be no other form of government that is good for us. As we speak on our 50th anniversary of the birth of our constitution, let it be told, let it be known, and media take and transmit to all corners of our country. No other form of government is good for our country. Not one-man rule, not individual person thinking that his way and no other way matters. The collective wisdom of all parts of our country embedded in our constitutional principle: democracy, rule of law, preservation of human rights. Our constitution embraces must forever stand the test of time going forward into our country. And I want to bring our press to a conclusion in the face of our 50th anniversary. As we look forward to the next 50, if any citizen amongst us asks this question, what can I do for my country? Whilst roads and bridges are important, and I made mention of this in 1 or 2 sessions back, whilst roads and bridges are important for us to build, and very soon I'll be able to drive from Port Moresby to Lae, and we are building roads and bridges as we speak. Road for me to drive to Alatau is ready as I speak. Anytime I find a free time, I'll be driving to Alatau. And whilst roads and bridges are important, whilst classroom and everything else is important, the best contribution from government to civil servant to clergymen and all of us in our country, the best contribution young generations can give to your country and all of us at present is to forever live under the shade of this great constitution. The fathers and mothers and founders of our country have birthed in this day 50 years ago. This is the punchline. This is the conversation. In our Constitution, we find unity. In our Constitution, we find peace. In our Constitution, we find formula for equitable benefit distribution. In our Constitution, we find direction for the future. Let us not reinvent the wheel while government policies from government to government may differ, may shift, but in the heart and soul of the major focus of our country, direction is already set in our Constitution. As we stand at the threshold of our 50th independence of our country on September 16, I appeal to all of us today, every child of the land, boy, girl, man, woman, father, mother, brother, sister, wherever you are in our country. From this day onwards to September 16th, we have but 4 weeks. The Constitution was birthed before our flag was hoisted up for the first time. Constitution is the spirit of our country. It is a living spirit that embodies all of us collectively. For what is the relevance of hoisting a flag up, flying a flag, if in the heart and soul of every citizen's spirit, you have no respect for our Constitution? You don't need to be a politician only to respect our Constitution. And for every politician, there are a couple of moments where our Constitution will put to the stress to all clusters of members of politicians, from national government to local governments, and in between the provincial governments. I want to offer my counsel to all of you as the chief custodian of the Constitution at present. Respect the Constitution as you seek public office and as you work in your tenure as an elected leader. There were moments in 2011 in this parliament when members of parliament felt that they were higher than the Constitution, and that is not so. You are not higher than the Constitution is higher than you. From the Prime Minister, Speaker of Parliament, and Chief Justice as 3 head of our governments, from the Governor General as head of our state, to every citizen down the line. Our 50th anniversary of the birth of our Constitution, as Prime Minister today I want to say, individual is not higher than the Constitution. Constitution ranks supreme at all times. And the Constitution is self-administrative, it's self-governing, it's life into itself. You want to change the Constitution, there's a constitutional process. If you want to go out of the process of the Constitution will bring you in line again. And I want to say at this juncture to our citizens nationwide, we, at the 50th anniversary of our country, must pledge total allegiance and loyalty to the Constitution of the motherland. This is the Mama Law. The mother law that carols every citizen to live, work, operate within the confines and ambits of this Mama Law. So on our 50th, if you do not know what to do for your country, I want to conclude by asking you, start. And the only thing you can do is respecting your country's laws. John F. K. once said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. If you do not know what you can do for your country, then I put to each one of you, from the mountains to the lowlands, wherever you are found in our country, look deep within and pledge that as the flag goes up on September 16th, on 15th of August, every year we must commit to respecting the mother law, our national Constitution. It was better earlier, before the flags were hosted for the first time on 16th September. It is now time for all of us, a call for action, that we come together and pledge unity under the emblem and spirit of our Constitution, and it must forever guide us into the future. The patriarchs and matriarchs of 1975 gifted to every Papuan child living after. I was a child living in the mountains of Western Province in 1975, not knowing that it would be here. Had it not been this Constitution and the provision of equal distribution of resources and embracing all parts of our country together. Who would have thought a child in the bush of Western Province or West Civic and later Hela could have moved on through life, found education, and eventually be the Prime Minister of our country in 2025. I could not have progressed much in life, neither can all of us progress much in life, had it not been our national constitution. Never forget this. And so it is the duty of every child of this country, wherever we are, that the defense of our constitution must be our number one task. Apart from Bible, as number one, Constitution comes second. These two documents shepherds and guides us through our life, today and for the next 50. Don't be like the politicians of 2011 who thought they were higher than the Constitution. No, you're not high. Constitution higher than you. To those who work in our judiciary, you're not higher, Constitution higher than you. To those who work in the National Executive, where I am currently head of, you're not higher, Constitution higher than you. Constitution reigns supreme always, and may God bless the Constitution of our country to forever embrace every child, giving every child the right that they deserve to prosper in this God-given country called Papua New Guinea, our motherland. And so in this I want to conclude and close and say, from this time on to September 16th this year, in under 4 weeks, every one of us are asked to ponder on your own respect for our Constitution. It starts with basic things, respecting. If talked about Constitution, you want them something. It's really all about respect for each other wherever we are found. Respecting Papa, respecting Mama, respecting Pikini, respecting neighborhood. If you want me to say in simple terms, it's all about this. Respecting laws that govern us. From our Constitution, every other laws come out of it. That's why it's called the Mama Law. It bettered every other law that we have in our country. So, all the other laws are born out of our Constitution. And so, in summary, on our 50th, if you ask James Marape now, what are you going to address the country about on September 16th? This is a prelude to my conversation on September 16th. Find a place in your heart. May your soul be living incongruent to the spirit of our Constitution that talks about embracing your right within the right of each other as we live in this beautiful symphony of diversity we have as a people of many languages and many cultures